On the morning of June 13th, the world was stunned when deafening explosions echoed across Iran. From radar stations hidden deep in the desert to fortified missile launch pads on the outskirts of Tehran, and especially the Natanz nuclear facility, the symbol of Iran's nuclear ambitions, all were simultaneously destroyed in a series of terrifyingly precise attacks. Black smoke billowed into the Tehran sky. Iran's advanced air defense systems were rendered powerless, and a series of senior military commanders were eliminated in a single night. The world asked who was behind this audacious attack, and how could they execute it in the heart of one of the most heavily guarded nations in the Middle East. The answer lies in 4 words: Israel's Mossad. This was not just a military strike, but a meticulously prepared intelligence operation marked by rare sophistication and audacity in modern history. But how did Israel manage to penetrate so deeply into Iran, destroying strategic targets without leaving a trace? Why is this operation considered one of the most brilliant of the 21st century? In this video, we will explore the story behind the historic attack on June 13th, from how Mossad set a deadly trap using cutting-edge technology to the profound consequences for Iran, Israel, and the world. Let's dive in. Background leading to the attack. To understand this operation, we need to revisit the tense geopolitical context before June 13th. Iran and Israel have long been arch-enemies in the Middle East. Their conflict is not only fought on battlefields, but also in the shadows of cyber attacks, covert sabotage, and proxy wars through groups like Hezbollah or Hamas. In recent years, Iran's nuclear program has become the focal point of this confrontation. The Natanz facility, located in Isfahan province, is not only a uranium production center, but also a symbol of Iran's nuclear ambitions, a direct threat to Israel's security. Before June 13th, tensions had escalated through several events. In July 2024, a mysterious explosion at Natanz, believed to be orchestrated by Israel, destroyed part of the facility. Iran, aware of the danger, moved critical nuclear equipment into underground bunkers deep in the mountains to enhance protection. However, this was not enough to deter Israel's resolve. Mossad, Israel's renowned intelligence agency, has long been famous for bold operations, from the 1960 kidnapping of Adolf Eichmann to sabotaging Iran's nuclear program with the Stuxnet virus in 2010. In close coordination with the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, Mossad has become a nightmare for any adversary. But the June 13th operation was not merely an act of sabotage. It was the pinnacle of sophistication, combining advanced technology, psychological tactics, and deep infiltration into the enemy's systems. So how did Israel pull it off? Details of the attack operation. Mount preparation phase. To carry out an attack of this scale and precision, Mossad prepared for years. It all began with the planting of devices. A series of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs carrying explosives and precision-guided weapons, were secretly smuggled into Iran, disguised in seemingly harmless civilian shipments, electronic equipment, water purifiers, industrial components. These shipments passed through international trade routes, evading all of Iran's security checks undetected. This was a triumph of patience and logistical sophistication. Alongside planting devices, Mossad conducted human infiltration. Elite Israeli operatives disguised as civilians, businessmen, technicians, or truck drivers slipped into major cities like Tehran, Isfahan, Shiraz, and Mashhad. They blended into the crowd's gathered intelligence and laid the groundwork for the attacks. But the operation's masterstroke was a bold move. Mossad orchestrated a fabricated meeting. Using fake intelligence, intercepting internal communications, and impersonating senior commanders. They lured 4 high-ranking Iranian generals, Hossein Salami of the Revolutionary Guard, Mohammad Bagheri, Chief of Staff Gholam Ali Rashid, Commander of Emergency Systems, and Amir Ali Hajizadeh of the Aerospace Forces to a military base on the outskirts of Tehran. This was the deadly trap. Execution of the attack. The attack unfolded in 3 tightly coordinated phases. Phase 1. Clearing the nest. Sudden raids destroyed Iran's radar stations and missile launch pads. Pre-planted devices from explosives in containers to precision-guided weapons were activated simultaneously, disabling Iran's advanced air defense systems within minutes. Not a single anti-aircraft missile was launched to intercept. Phase 2. Disguised monster, Mossad deployed low-frequency attack devices hidden in trucks containers and even household electrical systems to jam radar and support UAV operations. These devices, which appeared as everyday items, were actually high-tech weapons, allowing Israel to control Iran's skies undetected. Phase 3. The finishing blow. From secret underground bases within Iran, a fleet of small UAVs was activated. Equipped with artificial intelligence and precision navigation systems, these drones struck directly at the general's meeting room and the Natanz facility. Within minutes, both human targets and strategic infrastructure were obliterated. The Natanz facility, the heart of Iran's nuclear program, was completely destroyed, halting uranium production for years. The 4 senior commanders, Iran's top military minds, were eliminated, leaving an irreparable leadership void. Consequences of the attack. Damage to Iran. The June 13th attack was a devastating blow to Iran on all fronts. Militarily, the loss of radar stations, missile launch pads, and the Natanz facility severely weakened Iran's defense capabilities and nuclear ambitions. Natanz, once considered an impenetrable fortress, was reduced to rubble. In terms of personnel, the loss of 4 senior generals caused chaos in the military command structure. Their successors faced immense pressure to restore order while troop morale plummeted. Psychologically, the Iranian public was thrown into panic. In Tehran, black smoke rose from the attack sites and rumors spread about Mossad's shadows lurking in the dark. Marie, a 39-year-old mother in Natanz, clutched her young child and prayed silently. Meanwhile, Masoud Mossavi, a 51-year-old man in Isfahan, hurriedly exchanged money to flee the country, hoping to find safety for his family. The attack sparked division among Iranians. Some chose to stay and defend their homeland, while others sought to leave, yearning for a life free from the threat of war. Iran's response. Iran did not remain passive after the strike. Just days later, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei appeared on national television, calling the attack a declaration of war and vowing painful retaliation. Iran swiftly launched Operation True Promise, firing hundreds of ballistic missiles at Israeli military targets. However, thanks to Israel's Iron Dome and U.S. support, most missiles were intercepted. Iranian media, in an effort to restore confidence, emphasized that any further sabotage by Israel would lead to full-scale escalation. But behind the threats, Iran faced a harsh reality. They had been severely wounded, and recovery would take years. International intervention. The attack drew global attention. The U.S., Israel's close ally, quickly deployed Patriot and THAAD air defense systems and sent destroyers to the Mediterranean to protect Israel from retaliation. President Donald Trump called for Iran to return to nuclear negotiations, but his appeal was quickly overshadowed by military tensions. Other nations from Europe to China expressed concern over the risk of escalating conflict in the Middle East, threatening regional and global stability. A global impact. The world was stunned by Israel's audacity. The ability to penetrate deep into Iran and destroy strategic targets without a trace forced military experts to reassess Mossad's capabilities. But the operation also raised fears of a regional conflict that could draw in superpowers like the US, Russia, and China. Oil prices skyrocketed, global supply chains were threatened, and investors worldwide braced for potential economic turbulence. Canon analysis. Why was this operation brilliant? Sophistication in espionage. The June 13th operation was a masterpiece of modern intelligence. Mossad used cutting-edge technology from micro-UAVs to sophisticatedly disguised devices to bypass Iran's defenses. But what set it apart was psychological warfare. Orchestrating a fake meeting to lure senior generals into a trap demonstrated Mossad's astonishing ability to manipulate information and people. The network of planted devices in civilian shipments and infiltrated operatives created an undetectable espionage web. Strategic importance. Destroying Natanz not only delayed Iran's nuclear program, but also sent a clear message: Israel will not tolerate any threat to its national security. Eliminating 4 senior generals created a leadership vacuum, weakening Iran's ability to retaliate in the short term. The operation shifted the balance of power in the Middle East, solidifying Israel's position as an unassailable force. Historical comparison. In historical context, this operation rivals famous intelligence missions, like the 1942 assassination of Reinhard Heydrich or the 2010 Stuxnet attack. But unlike Stuxnet, a cyber attack, the June 13th operation combined physical, technological, and psychological elements, setting a new benchmark in modern warfare. It was not just a military victory, but a lesson in using information and technology to defeat an enemy from within. Psychology and choices of the Iranian people. The attack left a profound mark on the Iranian psyche. In Natanz, people like Mari, a 39-year-old mother, lived in fear and uncertainty, clutching her child and praying for safety as the echoes of explosions lingered. In Isfahan, Masoud Mozavi, 51, decided to exchange money and flee, hoping for a safer future. The attack not only destroyed infrastructure, but also reignited an age-old question for Iranians: stay to defend the homeland or leave in search of peace. Iranians are no strangers to hardship. From the 1979 Islamic Revolution to the Iran-Iraq War and economic sanctions, they have lived under constant tension. But the June 13th attack pushed this tension to new heights. Some chose to stay driven by national pride. Others, weary of war and instability, began seeking ways to leave, hoping for a better life elsewhere. In conclusion, significance and lessons. The June 13th attack is a testament to Mossad's sophistication and the fragility of Iran's defense systems. Through a combination of technology, psychological tactics, and deep infiltration, Israel executed a near-perfect operation, slowing Iran's nuclear ambitions and eliminating key military leaders. However, this victory came at a cost: the risk of escalating conflict in the Middle East, threatening regional and global stability. The questions remain: how will Iran recover from this blow? Will Israel continue similar operations? And most crucially, how many Mossad spies are still lurking in Iran, waiting for their moment to act? These mysteries remain unanswered. We want to hear your thoughts. How do you think this operation will change the Middle East? Can Iran successfully retaliate? Leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more gripping historical stories. Don't forget to share this video to spread the story of one of the most brilliant intelligence operations of the 21st century.